In a world where every choice echoes and every word hides a secret, there's a girl who's not who she seems. Maya, once an ordinary dreamer, now walks in Amelia's footsteps, a princess torn between duty and defiance. But who is her ally and who her enemy? With a rogue prince's trust and a crown prince's schemes, she must navigate a labyrinth of lies where one wrong step could cost her everything. Will she unravel the truth in time, or become another casualty of the kingdom's shadows? So let's embark on this adventure together. Over the following weeks, Maya met secretly with Kale whenever she could. These meetings were fleeting but filled with intensity, each one revealing more about the man behind the fierce exterior. One evening, as moonlight bathed a secluded forest glade, Maya approached Kale cautiously. When Kale saw her approaching, he turned to face her.
You're becoming braver with every visit.
His voice was soft, almost tender, contrasting sharply with his imposing figure. Beneath his hardened shell lay a man burdened by loss and betrayal, a side of him that only Maya seemed to glimpse. One evening, they found themselves inside Kale's remote castle, seated by a roaring fireplace. The flickering flames cast dancing shadows across the walls, mirroring the weight of his words.
My father banished my mentor after falsely accusing him of treason. It was Aldrich who orchestrated it all.
Maya listened intently, her wide-eyed gaze reflecting both shock and empathy. She saw the pain etched into his features, understanding now why he carried such bitterness in his heart. In a quiet library within Kale's castle, ancient books lined towering shelves, their spines cracked with age. A large wooden table stood at the center, covered with maps, scrolls, and glowing runes.
This region here. It holds secrets that could change everything.
Maya leaned closer, tracing the map's intricate lines with her fingers. Her curiosity was palpable, drawing them deeper into their shared mission. Then she asked him,
What kind of secrets? Why does this place feel so important?
It's where my past intersects with your present. Together, we might uncover answers neither of us has found alone.
As they studied the map together, their hands occasionally brushing against each other, a sense of partnership grew between them, a fragile yet undeniable bond forged through mutual trust. Back in the palace, preparations for Maya's marriage to Aldrich intensified. In her lavish dressing room, servants bustled around, draping silks and arranging jewels. Despite the opulence, Maya's reflection in the mirror revealed unease. One of the servants, a young woman named Lila, approached her with a gentle smile.
My lady, you look radiant. Truly the prince will be pleased.
Her voice was soft, but Maya could sense the unspoken concern behind her words. The servant's careful hands adjusted the fabric of Maya's gown as she stole a glance at her lady's face. As the servant turned her attention back to the gown, Maya's thoughts drifted inward. She spoke silently to herself.
If only they knew how heavy this radiance feels.
Though Maya forced a polite smile, the weight of the moment pressed down on her, leaving her lost in thought even as the room buzzed with activity. During a grand ball, Aldrich moved effortlessly through the crowd, charming everyone with his polished manners. He approached Maya, offering her a hand to dance.
You shine brighter than any jewel tonight, Amelia.
Though his words sounded sweet, Maya noticed the coldness in his gaze when no one was watching. His charm was merely a mask, hiding something far darker beneath. In her quiet room, she couldn't take her eyes off the necklace. It had a tiny light, almost like it was trying to match the jumbled feelings inside her. She whispered to herself, barely making a sound.
How long can I keep this up? Every step forward feels like walking on thin ice.
The walls of her room shimmered with gold and jewels, but inside, she felt like a dark, stormy cloud was taking over. At a grand banquet, laughter and music echoed through the hall, but tension lingered between Maya and Aldrich. He watched her closely, his smile never reaching his eyes. Then he said to her,
Enjoying yourself, my dear?
Maya maintained her composure, though her grip on her goblet tightened slightly. She knew he suspected something. His calculating gaze told her as much. After the banquet, Aldrich cornered Maya in a quiet alcove. His tone turned deceptively sweet, sending chills down her spine.
Amelia, you've changed lately. Tell me, is there someone else?
Maya hesitated, her pulse racing. She searched for the right words, knowing that admitting the truth would put both her life and Kale's safety at risk. Still in the alcove, Maya chose her words carefully, her voice steady despite the storm raging inside her.
I'm simply growing into myself, Your Highness.
Aldrich's smile faltered, replaced by a dangerous glint in his eye. He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a whisper.
Be careful, my dear. Not everyone can handle change so gracefully.
With that, he turned and walked away, leaving Maya shaken but resolute. Under a starlit sky, Maya rode alongside Kale on horseback. The wind whipped past them as they raced toward his base.
We don't have much time. Aldrich suspects something.
Maya nodded grimly, determination etched on her face. They shared a brief glance before urging their horses faster, the urgency of their mission driving them forward. Once they were back at the castle, Kale told her more about how Aldrich tricked his mentor. As he spoke, his eyes flashed like lightning, and he balled his hands into fists, shaking with anger.
Aldrich destroyed everything I held dear. I will not let him win.
Moved by his pain, Maya placed a comforting hand on his arm. Their connection deepened, bridging the gap between their worlds. In a secluded cave, Maya sat cross-legged on the ground, surrounded by scattered papers and notes. Moonlight filtered through an opening above, casting soft light across the space. She whispered to herself,
Every clue leads to more questions. Is Aldrich truly the ruler he claims to be? And Kale, what part does he play in all this? Can I trust either of them?
She paused, staring at a map marked with specific locations. Her brow furrowed as she considered the significance of these places. Outside, the sound of distant waves crashing against the cliffs underscored her isolation. Standing atop a castle tower, Maya looked out over Eldoria. The wind tousled her hair as she contemplated her choices.
Can I trust anyone here? Or am I alone in this fight?
All around her, the land stretched out forever. Maya looked like a little speck in the middle of it all. It was clear how much she was fighting. At dawn, Kale warned Maya about Aldrich's growing suspicion. They stood beside a bubbling stream, sunlight breaking through the trees. Kale said,
If things go wrong, use the pendant to escape.
Maya nodded, resolve strengthening within her. Their eyes met briefly, sharing an unspoken promise to protect each other. In the throne room, Maya confronted Aldrich directly, her confidence unshaken. Thunder rumbled outside as storm clouds gathered. Aldrich looked at her and said,
You've been keeping secrets, haven't you?
Maya met his gaze without flinching, her voice steady.
And you've been lying to everyone, including yourself.
Their eyes held each other's, and for a heartbeat, something flickered in Aldrich's gaze. Not anger, but something else. Was it fear? Or was it something even more dangerous? The darkness fell, leaving only that unsettling question.